Hi everyone, Chris here, and I wanted to get back into talking about assessment, and I wanted to touch on one thing that you absolutely need to make sure you assess in any e-learning project you're working on, and honestly, most instructional design projects that you work on in general, especially if there's any electronic component, and that is accessibility. Um, if you're in the US, um, or working for the US market is if your project touches the federal government or federal money in almost any way, it's most likely going to fall under Section 508 for the compliance requirements. And if not, then chances are you're going to fall under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And there are other laws in different countries as well. So a lot of these laws are starting to explicitly reference the World Wide Web Consortium, which you can find at w3.org. And they have the Web Consortium's accessibility guidelines. And these are the standards that instructional designers need to be making sure that we're raising ourselves to. And it goes it's more in depth than just adding captions. It's ensuring that all of the images, if they're meaningful and if they're non-decorative, um, have alt tags. It's ensuring that PDFs that we include can be read by a screen reader and aren't essentially images. Um, I really am horrible at double checking my tab order in some of my stuff. Ensuring that the e-learning that we do is easily navigatable using just the keyboard, so you don't need the mouse. All of these little things that really go into good design, and you need to make sure you take the time to double check. And I always forget something, and going in and adding that extra layer, doing the assessment, taking the time to go through with a W3 checklist. And yeah, it's it's probably one of the more important things you can do. And I want to throw a link to the quick reference for the accessibility standards and just explore that site a little bit and run some of your stuff through some of the checks. Um, and the nice thing about the quick reference is it really the way it's broken down, you can go through and see the areas that you're hitting, the areas that you need to like really ensure you're walking on. This makes a good, we were talking about rubrics the other day and how some rubrics can resemble checklists. This is one of them that is definitely worth making part of your practice. So that's my tip for the day, w3.org, the accessibility checklist, and yeah, just make it part of your routine. It ends up making sure that your work is just that much better. And it's an area where, if you get really good and make this more intuitive so that the checklist really is just a checklist, then you'll help yourself stand out. All right, well, I'll talk to you tomorrow.